Yes, shalom. First and foremost, giving honor and praise unto Yah, the creator of heaven and earth. This is the Israelites and Kemet debate, quote unquote debate presentation, part two, done over. The Assyrian and Babylonian kings mention several of the kings of Israel and Judah in their records. List of those kings are as follows: Ahab, Omri, Jehu, Menahem, Hosea, Pekah, Ahaz, Jehoiakim, Manasseh, as well as others. The Assyrian king, Shalmaneser III, mentions Ahab, the king of Israel, in a war that the Bible itself does not even record. So we have to deal with having an open mind and not tunnel vision. In ancient Egypt, there were 33 dynasties. Of the 33 dynasties, we see that the 15th, 16th, 22nd, 25th, 27th, 31st, 32nd, and 33rd were ruled by those who were not even the natives of Egypt itself. The 15th and 16th dynasties were the Hyksos from Asia. This was discussed in another video. The 22nd dynasty were the Libyans, also known as the Puttites in the Bible, and the Libyans were called the people of Tijanu by the Egyptians. The 25th dynasty was the Cushites being the Ethiopians. The ancient Egyptians referred to them as Kash, or the people of Tasiti. The 27th and the 31st were Persians. The Persians in the Bible were referred to as the people of Elam. The 32nd and the 33rd were the Greeks. The Greeks were referred to in the Bible as Javan. The last Greek ruler of Egypt was Ptolemy the 15th. After the rule of the Greeks over Egypt, Egypt became a Roman province. Is this why you find Egyptologists who are so fascinated about Egypt? Or are they researching the place that they conquered? Not to sound arrogant, but not one king on the throne of Israel or Judah was not of the people of Israel or Judah. Though spiritually, many of the kings of ancient Israel and Judah, well, most of them were actually wicked. We see that all the good and bad kings of Israel and Judah were all of their same people. In the 6th to the 12th century AD, we see that Islam was rife in the earth. We see that blacks were made to convert to Islam. Thus today we see Muslims in Africa. There are, as J.A. Rogers, in his book 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro, points out when he states West Africa has black Jews also. We see how there are Muslims in Africa today. But what can we say of there being black Jews in Africa? Did the Jews do to blacks in Africa as the Muslims in Africa did to blacks? No. There was no quote-unquote jihad against those of the El Sharia or holy war against those of the days of ignorance, as was done to blacks by Arabs in Africa. So how can we account for the records left by Mungo Park, Leo Scipio Africanus, J.A. Rogers, and Nahum Schultz, among others, who say that the blacks fled from Israel the land during the Greek and Roman empires and scattered to West and Northern Africa? There was no mass conversion of blacks by force in Africa to become Jews or follow anything remotely tied to quote-unquote Judaism. If anything, if we look at the fact that the Beta Yisrael, who are called Falashas by the Ethiopian people, was shot at while they were being airlifted to go to Israel, we see that the Israelites are not liked by all Africans. Some people state that the Israelites copied the belief in one God from Akhenaten, who ruled in the 18th dynasty of Egypt. Obviously, people knew about believing in one God before Akhenaten came along. Akhenaten, according to the Torah, would have been a pagan. Akhenaten believed in the Son as God. Such a doctrine as that is against the teachings of the Torah. Belief in one God and belief in the Most High God are two different concepts. Now, I'd like to take a little time to speak about the issue of Psalms 84, verse 11 through 12, because sometimes people try to go there and state that, well, it says that Yah is the sun and shield, and then try to use that as a catalyst to say that the Israelites worship a sun god. First off, Hebrew will let us know that the word that's used there for sun is the word for shemesh. Shemesh means sun. Shemesh also means a ministrant. A ministrant is something that is being used for a particular reason. You understand? So in Hebrew, the word shemesh comes from the root word shamash. Shamash in Hebrew means to be used. So therefore, when it says that the Most High is the sun and shield, what it's saying in Psalms 84 is that the Most High is used as a sun and shield. But you have to understand Hebrew to be able to understand that. For anybody who may wonder what I'm speaking on, the Hebrew word for bathroom is the word bet shemush, which literally means the house of usage. So if you understand that shamash, shemesh, shemush, mishtamesh, all basically is meaning the word used or to be used, then you know emphatically where the Hebrew understanding is coming from. But if you're just dealing with just the English, you're going to get lost in certain cases. Or when you're dealing in idolatry, your vision will be blocked. Let's continue on. The ancient Canaanites made a plea to Akhenaten of Egypt to send help to Jerusalem due to the people called the Kabiru who were attacking. This can be found in what is recalled today the Amarna records. Egypt had provinces in other lands. In the time of Esarhaddon of Assyria, we see that Egypt was conquered in 671 BCE. This culminating also into the time of Manasseh, the king of Judah. Then in the time of Cyrus of Persia, we see that Egypt was conquered in 625 BCE. The Persian Empire, which was called the Almoravid Empire, came to its zenith in 538 to 331 BCE. Egypt was not in much power of herself after Cyrus conquered her. The Persian rule over Egypt, as stated earlier, was the 27th dynasty of Egypt. Then Egypt came back under the guy Nekhtenebo and ruled over their people, but that was short-lived. Persia came and ruled yet again. The Persian Empire came to an end when Alexander, the son of Philip of Macedon, defeated the army of Darius III Commodius. The native Egyptians were happy, actually, to see Alexander defeat their rulers, who were the Persians. Esarhaddon of Assyria was the successor of Shalmaneser V of Assyria. Shalmaneser V invaded the land of Israel and defeated the Israelites in 722 BCE, which was before the Assyrians invaded Egypt. The point in mentioning this is how can, as many people in the Kemetic community try to state, how can the Israelites be the copycats of Egyptian history and culture when one nation independent of Egypt and Israel, such as the Assyrians, speaks of Israel at one point and Egypt at another point? Cyrus, who conquered Egypt, was the same Cyrus, the father of Cambyses, who defeated Babylon and permitted the Israelites who chose to go back to Jerusalem to do so. History shows that claims of Israel not existing, or if the Israelites did exist, copied from Egypt, to be incorrect. Many brothers who are into the Kemetic science do not separate Kemet and Akibalan. Akibalan, referred to as Africa by the renowned scholar that they love, Dr. Ben, is Africa, the continent. The continent of Akibalan housed many different people, though they were all of the same skin tone. Kemet is a country that is in the continent of Al-Kibalan. Interesting is the fact that Egypt slash Kemet was very clear about their nation and independent spirit. Yet, brothers today try to incorporate Kemet and Al-Kibalan as one whole united culture. No offense, but that is the way white people who colonize and try to group people based on the outward appearance. The ancient Egyptians knew, when you read into the records of Kamose of Dynasty 17, when you read into the writings of and the statements of Hatshepsut of Dynasty 18, when you read even before that the writings of Senusret, called Sesostris by the Greeks, that is to say Senusret III of the 12th dynasty of Egypt, and how he felt about the people of Tasiti. When you go into the record of what happened in Dynasty 4, when the people attacked the people called the Nubians, and so forth and so on. It's not too hard to figure out that the ancient Egyptians knew that they were not the same as everybody else. Everybody in the ancient world knew their land, language, and culture. It's only y'all people here who try to sit there and associate people based on the outward appearance. Oh, you got this type of looking nose. You got these type of looking lips. That's what happens when you don't know your land, language, and culture. You start looking at noses and lips to try to say that this person has to be this. Egyptologists began to dig in Egypt while the black man was enslaved in the Western Hemisphere. Jean Champollion was considered the father of Egyptology. He translated the hieroglyphs that people read today. Upon study for the presentation, I attempted to find any black Egyptologists in that era. The discovery of such a black Egyptologist would strengthen the idea that Egypt is our true home, and one day we will have to reclaim our land. No such black Egyptologist was found. Yet to this day, 2015, there are thousands of black people in Israel to this day that lay claim to being the children of Israel. Upon study for this presentation, I came across certain names that I will list: Eric Orbug, Jan Ashman, Barbara Adams, Alfred Beatty, among others who were the Caucasians who dug and excavated in Egypt. The Israelite enslavement in ancient Egypt was a bad time for the people of Israel in Egypt. No people make up a story of being enslaved. The idea of the Israelite enslavement was made up defies human logic. No people make up a story of being enslaved and delivered by an unseen God. Men, brothers and sisters, make up stories of beating people up, not being beat up. In Exodus chapter 1, we read that the sons of Israel upon birth were to be slain and the daughters were to be left alive. America is the copycat, if anything, because that's how she dealt with our people in slavery. The Willie Lynch letter and speech is a perfect example of such. Put the woman in front of the man. Blacks' interkemetic teachings state conflicting stories concerning the Israelites. This may be due to the fact that their teachers stated conflicting stories. Some of them are filled with the spirit of saying, we got to get at the Israelites. Chancellor Williams, in his book, does not deny the existence of the true Israelites, but as a worker for the Khazarian Jews in his book entitled Destruction of Black Civilization, he stated on page 337 that the Hebrews or the Jews were white. Emphatically incorrect in history. Ray Higgins, who has now been exposed as a coon and a Sambo due to the era of he being a cop and what he said about a brother being murdered by the police, does deny the existence of the Israelites. So that shows you where their spirit is. Many black men who teach Kemetic science have either learned from or studied under the influence of others. Yet many of their statements conflict concerning the issue of the Israelites. It is taught by many who state that the stories of the Bible can be found on the walls of Egypt. This, we know, is in sharp contrast to history. Because when the Persians came into power, that just goes to show you what Egypt was. The Israelites had their own history recorded by them and by others. Shalom with that.